The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv. Thank
Salute.
Heavens. And yeah, salute. Yeah, salute. And let's get to the COVID so we can get into the machinations of the city of Fall River.
Oh God, that's an hour-long show right there. Okay, in Massachusetts yesterday, total cases 655,350. Total new cases 616. Total deaths is 17,366. New deaths 9. Bristol County is 65,922. And the Fall River numbers are total cases 14,030, up 98. Total deaths is 372, up 1 case. And that came from the press release from the mayor's office. It did not come from the mayor. The mayor did not post a video post again this week in regards to COVID or what was going on. But it did make a good post for his Grease movie at the Durfee High School. So he obviously wants to make sure the important stuff, like the drive-in movie theater, is adequately represented.
Yeah, that's his campaign platform. He's not the COVID mayor; he's the free movie mayor. Yeah, and the automobile caravan mayor, and the I want to jeopardize the employees trust fund mayor under the guise of doing everybody a favor. So, I guess. A lot of talk has been being bantered around about the trash fee and bags and every other thing. It's beginning to pick up some momentum here. People are beginning to get upset, and it's going to be very, very nice to see. I've heard a lot of commentary from our viewers, about counselors and the counselors that they feel are watching out for the taxpayer and others who have made a 180-degree shift and seem to not care anymore about the taxpayers and fees and some accountability.
Accountability in Fall River? Come on. What are you asking for? Miracles? Accountability. That's ridiculous.
Yes. And obviously the bags and everything else, and you listen to the dialogue and it's like everybody else has got it. Right. Well, so that makes it okay for us to have it. That to me is a weak argument, because if everybody else jumps off the Braga Bridge, why don't our politicians go up to the Braga Bridge and jump off? Because everybody else does it isn't a reason.
But it's a good start for Fall
because
River.
Everybody wants to gouge the public. Yeah, but if everybody wants to gouge the public, well, everybody else doesn't live in a city that is number 1 in crime in this state and number 2 in New England. Everybody doesn't live in a city that had a stabbing and a shooting over the last few days. What did we have? A shooting on Cedar Street and a stabbing on your street. Yep. See that, CJ? Well, maybe
we had a shooting over on Pulaski Street. So.
Oh God, your neighborhood's getting wow. Well, that's it. It's Fall River. The other day, somebody said that they saw two men running up my street in the early evening, and they couldn't figure out why these full-grown men were running up the street with no apparent reason. Then about 35 seconds later, they saw a couple of police cars come up. Then they knew they were probably a drug deal. And so this is Fall River. So does everybody else want to do that? Does everybody else want to be Fall River? Let's go to Newton and ask the Newtonians if they want to be like Fall River. It's BS. Everybody else does it. That's right. Everybody else gouges people. But virtually you can't point to a city within 25 miles that has a lower household income, a lower per capita income, and more people living below the poverty level than Fall River. So how about that fact? How about those facts? Do the people who say, well, everybody else does it? Well, you look at some of the towns that do it. Somerset, see a lot of three-deckers in Somerset. See a lot of rent payers in Somerset. Not really. All single-family homes. Much higher income. The burbs. Look at the surrounding communities that do it. They've got money. It doesn't make it right, believe me. Believe me, it doesn't make it right. But you have to fund things. And in those communities, maybe, just maybe, they don't have, it doesn't take 45 political hacks to screw in a light bulb.
Well,
this is disturbing.
Well, I don't usually side with the politician, but a comment that was made by City Councilor Linda Pereira during the City Council meeting was that, the city wants more police, more fire. They don't want to pay for trash, but they want trash collection. They want services. They want clean streets. They want clean parks. They want lights in the parks. They want all of this. Somebody's got to pay for it. She's right. Somebody's got to pay for it. Okay? We don't need a city that has 2 new police captains for no apparent reason. We don't need a city that needs 10 new police officers when we can't afford it. Okay? And as a taxpayer in the city, if I have to choose between 5 policemen and 5 firemen or an affordable tax rate and affordable water rate, I'm going to go with the affordable tax rate and the affordable water rate, because our police are only really necessary, it seems, when there's a shooting or a stabbing. Because if you get into a car accident and you call for a cruiser, they say, file your report online. If your house gets broken into, they tell you, file your report online. So what are we paying these police officers to do? To drive around all day? I have a great deal of respect for our police department. I have a great deal of respect for our fire department and the people who work in those jobs, which are not safe all the time and can be very dangerous. And I'm not saying that we defund the police. I'm not saying that we defund the fire department. But we need to be responsible in the spending of our money. And if we're going to be focusing on where to spend our money, and police and fire is one of those areas that we need to spend our money, which I can't agree with, we need to cut things away from other departments and other areas, like lights in the park. Okay? While Chris Peckham may have it all right to say, yes, we need lights in the parks, and these, leagues all may want lights in the parks, guess what? Have your games during the day. What more can I say? If we can't afford the lights in the park, why are we going to transfer the cost of those to us when they're already being paid for by the leagues? Because they can't afford it? Neither can Fall River. Neither can Fall River.
Well, let me tell you something. That therein lies the rub. What you just went off, that nice little rant was showing what's wrong with Fall River. Because my response to Linda Pereira is, who's going to pay for it? It should be the city of Fall River by eliminating the fact. The problem here is not that we can't have adequate police and fire, that we can't have trash pickup. The problem here is that no matter how much money, no matter how many fees, no matter how many bags we give them, they always need more. Why? Because the superintendent has 6 to 9 assistant superintendents. Because we have a principal and a vice principal in every school. Because we have a dean of students in a middle school. Because we have what? Fundamentally the same amount of police cars on the street and sectors that we had 30 years ago. So where is all the money going that's being invested into the police department? Is it going to captains and administration? Where's all the money going? Is when the city council tells me and shows me, and there are some people who have basically said this. I believe Michelle Dion said, well, why don't we, she gave a whole litany of ways we can do this. Let businesses pick up their own trash. And the fact is that some of those businessmen are campaign contributors, so there's always resistance. But that BS that Linda was spreading at the last meeting is just that. It's BS. Somebody's got to pay. You know what that is? That is a paraphrasing of Mary Sahadi's comment that says, you people, you dummies that keep electing these people who say things like this, somebody's got to pay, have to expect to get your fees and taxes raised every year. That's just the way it is. And that's not true. It's the way it is because you keep putting these people in those seats. Because I don't want to. I will pay for police. I will pay for fire. I will pay for education where the money is put directly into the students by getting more teachers and more classroom space, not administrators. And I don't want to pay for police that are going to get office jobs. I want to see the more sectors, more police cars on the street, more police officers on the street. We have to tighten the belt, streamline these departments, make these department heads make them efficient and serving the public. And then nobody has any problem. Don't tell me somebody's got to pay and we have to build a baseball field with AstroTurf because we have to have, in the words of Brad Kilby, a baseball field as good as Newton. We have to have the best high school in the state of Massachusetts and the most expensive one, even though it's underperforming. So what they're telling you is that you just keep paying, dummies. You just keep paying. Because we're going to spend your money, give all our friends jobs, give them all pay raises, and say, why do you expect anybody to come to Fall River to work? Nobody worth a damn comes to Fall River. Who would want to come here with all the problems we got? So they're recycling all the old political hacks and other people who are friends or political supporters of politicians. That's all this is doing because they never stop spending money. They never stop spending money. And this is only the beginning. If you don't dump most of these people this coming November, you have no idea what's coming next year. They're going to crucify you. Because if you buy that crap, somebody's got to pay. You're a fool. Because it should be somebody has to have accountability. Somebody has to have consequences. Somebody has to look for efficiency in government. That's what it should be. Those are the somebodies that we should be looking at. Not you idiots got to just keep paying. You just got to keep being an ATM machine. And we don't care that a quarter of the people are living in poverty. And we don't care if some elderly person loses their house. And we just don't give a damn. Because that's the way we told you it's got to be. It's like the federal government. All they're doing is printing money. Look at the inflation. Gas prices are over $4 a gallon in California. They were below $2. Lumber. We went over the numbers in lumber. 280% increase in the price of lumber. Framing a house went from $14,000 to $29,000. The price of a house is going up almost 40% and rising. Because, you know, and you can thank the people who put these people in office whose solution to everything is tax and spend more money. And not on things that are really, really in the best interest of the public. Give out more jobs, give out more pay raises, become more inefficient, and just tell these idiots to believe that that's the way it is and you got to just keep paying.
Hey, that's what we're told all the time. And, you know, nobody seems to want to listen. And remember, next year, it is going to be worse because the debt exclusion comes in. So your taxes are going to go up again. Not like Mary Sahadi doesn't like tax increases because she said it before. Every year, you're going to get a tax increase. Every year. Why? You know what we need to do? We need to show her that we're not going to get a tax increase every year. You raise the taxes, we'll have an underride, and we'll cut it. So when you raise it 10 million, we'll cut it 25 million. And let's see how you like that. Learn to do with less. That's what you have to figure out. To learn to do with less. And until you learn to do with less, nothing's going to change. When we keep people who admit to stealing money from the city on behalf of other people that work in the city, and we have no repercussions for that. When we talk about misusing money like perpetual care funds, when we talk about expanding cemeteries and needing $8 million or $850,000, or we're going to do it in small portions so that we can get it passed without going in front of the voter. That's why we need to make people accountable. They get bonds passed because they do them in small pieces like they're doing right now for the fields up at Durfee High School, because it's over $5 million if they do it all at once or they bond it all at once, and that requires a voter approval. And they know the voters may say no, and they don't want to give the voters the opportunity. Don't you people understand? Listen up. Listen clearly here. Don't you people understand? The politicians don't care what you have to say. And if they have an option of not giving you the right to say something, they always take it. Always take it. Because they don't want you to say no. Because if you say no, that means they can't do something. And they don't like that. They don't like that at all. They like to be in control. Not you, they. And that's the problem. They want to be in control. They have the power, not you. And the problem is that we are supposed to have the power. We, the people, are supposed to have the power. We, the people, aren't supposed to be the problem. We're supposed to be the solution. And the solution is this year at the ballot box, nobody gets reelected. Nobody.
Well, look. What they're telling you, let's look at this from an actual, like, logical perspective. What they're saying to you is that we're never going to stop spending. We're never going to stop being inefficient. We're never going to stop investing your money in jobs that don't deliver anything to you and deliver fat paychecks and fat retirements to people who are politically connected, and we will never prioritize your services. We will never prioritize policing, more police on the streets, more teachers in the classroom. We will get more administrators and more pay raises. So let's look at this and put it in take it away from the government. And as you said, CJ, that we're supposed to control, and we do control with our ballots. When a contractor comes into your house, what do? You get a couple of prices for a job. Well, there's no price in a job in Fall River. Baseball field, best in the world. There's no constraint because it's not your money. When a contractor walks into your house, if a contractor walked into your house and said, look, I'll do this job, and he tells you, you say, okay, how much is it going to cost? You give me an estimate? He said, no, just give me a blank check. Because that's what we do in this city. The taxpayers are giving the government a blank check because we just keep paying. You would never hire anybody to do a job, a major job, without getting estimates. And if you do, you're an idiot. But the fact is, if I would never hire a contractor that said, well, just give me a blank check. When I'm done, I'll fill it out. And I may never get done, by the way. So this is what we're doing in the city of Fall River. Every time we allow them to continue to create jobs, how many times have we heard about the dean of students? Well, it was just a revelation to me that the assistant superintendent of schools that's making over $200,000 while being fundamentally and admitted. Like, my phone's going to ring. It's the person I texted to call me ASAP an hour ago, but I'm not going to answer it. So, but and forgive the ringing because it's in the other room, and I'm not going to get up to get it. My cell's in the other room. But every time we listen to these discussions and we look at them at budget time, we are contributing. We are accessories before, during, and after the fact by not throwing these people out of office, as you said, CJ. Because what we do every single year is listen to them tell us, write us a blank check. Because the budget doesn't mean crap. In addition to the budget, they'll go out for bonds. You think I forgot already that Mary Sahadi unilaterally changed the bond ceiling? So that's more money they're going to get ultimately. And next year, it's going to be the debt override. We already saw what next year's projected water and sewer fees are. I mean, you think it's bad this year? Wait till next year. And on top of that, add your lumber across all the inflation. This country may have a financial collapse. But every year at budget time, they tell you that we want you to give us a blank check. Because as Mary Sahadi said, expect to get your taxes and fees raised every year. So basically, why would they have any incentive to stop spending and wasting our money? Because 50% of this budget is waste. All these new positions that never existed 20 years ago. Chief of Staff, CFO, Dean of Students, Assistant to the Superintendent of Schools, all these positions that do not deliver services to the taxpayer. As I said in the last show, we have an inverted pyramid. We got a couple of tiny little Indians scurrying around at the bottom of the pyramid providing us service, and a whole bunch of big fat bureaucrats sitting at the top. And it's our fault.
I'll give you one.
I'm not saying don't elect it. Don't throw out everybody. There are people there that are working, but pay attention to who is, and only elect those who ask for belt tightening at the budget cycle.
And let me bring something to you. And I was speaking to this city employee yesterday. 20 plus years in city employment. 20 plus years. Now is in a position of, some authority. Although the authority is stripped from them by other people who are in authority. And a political appointee that was hired under the previous administration is getting paid the same, if not more, than this person who's been in city government for over 20 years. Is that fair? Is that fair? This is how your money is being spent. This is how your money is being wasted. This is how people are being paid back for their political patronage. This has got to stop. It's got to stop, people. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, it always works that way. It's always done that way. That's what happens. No, it's not always what happens. It's what happens when you let it happen. You can stop it. Only you can stop it. Remember Smokey the Bear? Only you can prevent forest fires? Well, only you can stop the politicians from paying off their friends. It's criminal. It's criminal, but nobody goes after them. Unless they're taking $250,000 bribes on the street. That's when they go after them. Fall River, the home of corruption.
Well, yeah, but you're right, CJ. Remember who the previous superintendent, Meg Mayo Brown. Do you remember when we were talking on our show about secretaries and people that she hired were making $20,000 more than secretaries doing exactly the same job?
Yes, I remember that.
This is what happens, as you said. This is what happens. These people get pay raises. They get automatic cost of living raises. They get padded while they're not doing anything for us. And this is why, Linda Pereira, start looking into stuff like this. Start saying that every secretary, just like every firefighter and police officer, has a pay. And it's an ordinance. Let every secretary in every job reevaluate their jobs and say, this is what secretaries get paid. This is the career. This is the steps they have to go through for years of service. And everybody gets paid the same for the same job. Same work, same pay. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen, and it never happens in this city. Therein lies the problem. Not that somebody's got to pay. It's that those somebodies are paying way too much for nothing. We're not getting anything out of this. It is totally unfair to pay somebody 20 grand more to do the same job as somebody at the next desk because they're politically connected. And you mentioned the Perpetual Care Fund. We have someone who already under oath said that they went into a snow removal fund and used money and misappropriated money. Now they're going to go into the Perpetual Care Fund. To my knowledge, you're not supposed to use that for that. So, that's just the way it is.
The misuse of funds in the city runs rampant. And we see it every year. Right after the budget is passed, you have a department head coming in saying, I need money for this. I need money for that. Why wasn't it included in your budget? Why? Because then the city council may have said, we're not going to approve your budget. And then that's what happens. It's time to be accountable. It's time to be accountable, people. And we need to be sure that our politicians hold our department heads, hold our employees, hold our administration accountable, because nobody seems to be accountable in this city at all. And as you can see, we have a criminal trial going on with hopefully the jury coming out sometime today with the verdict in Boston. We have the biggest black eyes. We not only have one black eye, we have two black eyes in Fall River, and it just doesn't get any better. Well, that's all the time we have. I want to thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, wear a mask, and hold your politicians accountable. Have a great day.